Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Welcome to my film and TV channel. I look forward to do this one when I heard it was coming out, and I look forward to watching it with I did look forward to it. A bit of trepidation though, because when they try and do these things, it doesn't always work quite right. I mean, did it come out any good? Well, we're going to be talking today about the action adventure comedy, live action mixed with animation, and we're talking Tom and Jerry. Yeah, so please, we're going to have a little look at that today. As I say, you can understand why I went at it with trepidation, because you never know how they're going to treat these sort of, let's face it, legends, aren't they, Tom and Jerry? So we'll have a look at that today. Please, if you're new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. Push the bell notification. All these vlogs are coming out with film reviews, TV drama reviews, information vlogs, quizzes. Yeah, there's a little quiz. If you just get a chance, there's a Sean Connery quiz there. You have to sort of, if you can sort of look at it and do it and comment by the 10th of March, you have a chance to get a little prize draw as well as a little prize up for grabs. So a bit of fun, bit of a tribute as well, of course, to Sean Connery. That, so have a look at that if you can. And if you do check the playlist, you'll see stuff on my football team as well, Manchester City. So if that's of any interest, please flit over there and have a look at that. If you're not, there's loads of films and TV stuff, don't worry about it. Or if you know somebody who might be interested, please point them in my direction. It's Citizen Channel and stuff on city history, city present, again, information vlogs, quizzes, lots of different things. So please point somebody in my direction if you know somebody who might be interested. Any Manchester City fans you know out there. And there's a couple of links on screen for Facebook and Twitter. Do check every 3 or 4 days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And please, any comments on this film if you get to watch this? Or yeah, it's as I'm doing this, it's actually due for theatrical release in the USA. Obviously, here in the UK, we'll have to try and get streams of it. Obviously, I think it's from March, end of March 2021. But check your territory anyway, wherever you are. So please, any comments on this film, or if you can't leave us a comment on anything to do with films and TV, just leave us a comment. If you can't comment, just give us a thumbs up. It's nice to get a thumbs up. It's nice to get views, but it's nice to get a thumbs up as well. Right, Tom and Jerry then. Yeah, Tom and Jerry, the movie, it can be called in certain areas. An hour and 41 minutes. Again, initial response, it's a little bit long even for a mixed live action animation thing. I mean, I'm more happy with 1 hour 20 minutes. Certainly for an animation, you're probably talking 1 hour 10 minutes to be perfect for certain animations. So a little bit long on the face of it. That's what I thought before watching it anyway. $48 million budget. So that's not too bad, is it? Plenty of money there spent. It's classed as a live action computer animated slapstick comedy, which it is. Well, Tom and Jerry, it's bound to be slapstick. Based on the cartoon characters and animated theatrical short films of the series of the same name, created of course by William Hanna and Joseph Barbara. This has been produced by Warner Animation, so they put this together. And it's been distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, directed and produced as an executive by Tim Story and written by Kevin Costello. And it stars, live actors. We've got the wonderful, talented Chloe Grace Moretz, more on her in a while, Michael Penner, Colin Jost, Rob Delaney and Ken Young in the live action roles. And we've got Nicky Jam, Bobby Cannavale and Lil Rel Howery also featuring voice roles, with the titular characters voiced by William Hanna, Mel Blanc and June Foray via archival recordings. So there you go. They don't do much talking, but to be honest with you, that's alongside Frank Welker as well. It was originally intended as a live-action computer film in 2009, so it's had a bit of development trouble, to say the least. It was then planned to be done just as a pure animation, and finally, thankfully, they decided that they'll begin a live-action animating in 2018. So it actually started filming in 2019, but obviously they plumped. I'm glad they did, because obviously, if you remember the original Tom and Jerry the movie in the early 90s. We'll talk about that in a second as well. Yeah, that was pure animation, wasn't it? It's set to be theatrically released as I'm recording this by Warner's in the United States on February the 26th, 2021. So just a few days from now as I'm doing this. And within 1 month, simultaneous streaming release on HBO Max. Please check your territories. What's it about? Well, Tom, Tom is always getting into trouble, isn't he? He's kicked out by his owners, no surprise there, due to failing to do his job as a house cat and has no place to live anymore, along with his long-time rival, Jerry, who's also left without a source of food. Oh, poor Jerry. Now, I always felt sorry for Tom, me. Now homeless, the cat and mouse duo are left wandering in the streets and decide to call a truce to their rivalry. They go their separate ways to have a fresh start in their lives. The two later cross paths in Manhattan, New York City, where Jerry has taken up residence in the city's largest, exquisite and finest Royal Gates Hotel, causing all sorts of trouble while the staff are preparing for the wedding of the century. Yeah, that's the sort of plot that all this is mayhem is around. Kayla, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, a young newly employed staff member by default, she cheated away him basically, is tasked by the hotel manager, Mr. Dubros, Rob Delaney, with planning the event and getting rid of Jerry. Kayla later finds Tom and hires him to catch Jerry. Of course she does. She doesn't know his previous experience, does she? He didn't do a resume. Reigniting their never-ending fight, of course. However, chaos unfolds when the cat and mouse slapstick battle threatens to destroy Kayla's career before it's got off the ground, the wedding, and possibly even the hotel itself. Yes, there's a few elephants involved as well, as the chase causes widespread mayhem, bound to. And the trailer, yeah, I watched the trailer. The trailer's okay. You'll get a view for it. You'll get a view for the sort of animation, the sort of thing it is. I quite like the trailer. There's nothing wrong with the trailer. I'll give the trailer a healthy 6.5 out of 10. And what about the film itself? Well, we've got nothing on Rotten Tomatoes, we've got nothing on Metacritic just yet. It's too brand new, but we do have some users who've watched it. We've got 516 users as I'm recording this. Some have left a review, some have left just scores. Of that, we're getting an average of 6.5 out of 10. Not too shabby if you think of the original Tom and Jerry movie. I think back in the 90s, the 1 hour 20 minute version, I think it scored about 5.4, so that wasn't great. Obviously not many, 500 isn't a lot, but it's a trend. I mean, those was about 300, it was 6.5, so there's a consistency in that. Some of the positives that people have written: this movie is freaking amazing. I had absolutely zero expectation and I had a blast watching it. More than just nostalgia, said someone else. Justice done to the movie. Someone else: great, just watched up to the mark. Very funny, enjoyable movie, a must watch. Great editing of human and cartoon, funny to watch. Someone else wrote, Tom and Jerry legacy continued. Someone else: it's almost everything that a Tom and Jerry fan could want. But there are dissenters, there are negatives to this. Some of the negatives: the movie spoiled Tom and Jerry for me. This movie is senseless, illogical, irritating, all at the same time. Someone else: I couldn't watch past the first 15 minutes. Someone else: bad effects, bad cartoon, incredible on 21st century, and bad technician. Yeah, I mean, it's the animation, I think the animation is deliberate. We'll have a word on that in a moment, but I don't think that's quite right. But the technical side, someone was losing heads on screens at a cinema, so I'm not too sure of what happened there. Tom and Jerry is my favourite childhood cartoon, said someone else. I was expecting the character to look more real-life animated, like Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Yeah, well, it's not meant to be like that. Storyline was so boring and typical. Yeah, it was a struggle. All I can say: save your ticket money. Well, there you go. Right, on to Bernard's little views. Yeah, I mean, it's always, isn't it? Producing a film like this is always bound to split opinions. You've got your loyal fans. You've got the fans like me who are willing to give stuff a chance and are willing to be sort of philosophical about it, if you like. I mean, let's face it, Tom and Jerry are cartoon legends, so they are going to split opinions straight from the start. I think this, in my opinion, is probably okay and worthwhile, but it wasn't really necessary, to be honest with you. I don't think it adds to the legacy. It doesn't, fortunately, take too much away from it, but it's the sort of thing that at the end of it you think, well, why? Perhaps give us 5 or 6 new 5-minute slapstick sequences or something like that rather than a film. But hey, there you go. As I said, the animation is deliberately toned down, I feel, so as to not lose the nostalgic feel of Tom and Jerry, and I think that's been done. It didn't meet with everyone's approval, obviously, but obviously stretching 5-minute slapstick segments into over 95 minutes. I mean, it's bad enough into an hour and 10 or an hour and 20, but into almost an hour and 40 is a big challenge, but thankfully the slapstick sort of dotted throughout, so it doesn't overdo it in any one section, so you don't become overly bored with it. But the fact that the storyline isn't great means that it does sort of plod along sometimes, which is such a shame. I do remember being disappointed with that original one back in the early 90s. It got 5.4 out of 10. Most people were. So I'm so glad they didn't just reproduce an animated version, which would have probably scored a lot lower than this has. As I said, not the greatest storyline, but thankfully, apart from our two heroes, who obviously are very, very likeable immediately, they're our heroes after all, we do have a very, very, in my opinion, watchable lead real actor in Chloe Grace Moretz, who I thought was excellent in this. And to be honest with you, apart from Tom and Jerry, she's the only one who I sort of watched the film for, and thankfully she's on the screen quite a lot, so that's not too bad. She and the cat and mouse duo simply allow this film, in my opinion, to be watchable and not a total or sort of bang average why bother sort of thing. So yeah, all credit to Chloe Grace Moretz and whoever cast her in the role, because it certainly did help watching her character. As I said, it was hard going at times. 20 minutes off it would have been nice. An hour and 20, perhaps an hour and 15, hour and 20 would have been nice. But, you know, it's a fair budget, wasn't it? So they probably thought they had to put the screen time, you know, and that's what they tend to do. The more they spend, it's as though they have to put longer on the screen, but not necessarily. It doesn't normally work out like that, does it? I still love the Tom and Jerry shorts if you ever watch them, usually on YouTube now or from somewhere else. And I'm only sort of glad that they've not totally ruined the legacy, and that hasn't done that. It's not added to it, as I said, but well, it's added to Chloe Grace Moretz's legacy, in my opinion, because I will keep my eye out and look out for more things that she's in, because it's not. I have seen her before in other things, but as I say, she did sort of help make this watchable for me anyway. But thanks to our creature heroes and our talented Moretz, yeah, it's okay, it's watchable. And I say, some people will like it, some people will hate it, some people like me will think, oh, it's okay. It could have been worse, I think, is what we say with this one. So the film, yeah, as I give the trailer 6.5 out of 10, yeah, the film not quite as I say, it's a bit long and a bit, the story's a bit, as I say, it's only the three likeable characters I've already mentioned that actually make it worthwhile for me, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give it my basic watchable rating of 6 out of 10 for the film, which is okay. It's a bit down on the Internet Movie Database, but I say I wouldn't put anyone off at all watching it. But don't have your expectations too high, and do enjoy the Tom and Jerry segments. And as I say, if you enjoy the actors, I say some of the actors are okay, but it's just because obviously Moretz that stood out for me in this one, and you might not feel the same when you watch it, but as I say, it did help me get through it anyway. And the poster, yeah, I mean, you've seen a poster as I've been doing this. I mean, who could not love her? I want that on my wall now. I mean, I don't tend to get any now on my posters. Usually when I used to have a video shop, but yeah, great poster. And who does not want a poster of Tom and Jerry? So I'll give the poster 7 out of 10. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Whatever you do this today, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Film and TV channel. Don't forget that Sean Connery quiz. If you can get a chance, I'll put it on the links. Or you flit over and have a look at my Citizen channel, my football channel. Wherever it is, all I ever ask is please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.